participate in a discussion of the future steps for University of Rwanda and the development in this field in Rwanda. I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you. Then we have the third speaker, Ernesto, please. So very welcome. Thank you. You have a presentation. Then we have the focus on him. Go ahead. Stand up when you're coming to the...
I think we'll not reach that point. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be with you today. We are looking at research and innovation. And if you allow me, I'm not using PowerPoint, and I will be short and brief. I'm Venuste Nsenyimana from the Center of Excellence in Biodiversity and Natural Resource Management, based in the University of Rwanda, College of Science and Technology. If you allow me, I take you in another direction a little bit, and we talk about biodiversity and conservation research. I don't know if it happened to one of you or all of you, that you take some time and think about the environment around us. This is because when we talk about research and technology in this era, everyone is concerned with a new product. And that new product is there for the people, for researchers, but also for money, for income generation. It's very hard for us now to talk about biodiversity and conservation. And when we talk about biodiversity, most of the people will think about these big animals. I used to talk with my students, asking them, what do you think about biodiversity? And the first outcome is that there are gorillas, there are elephants, there are lions. That's good. But maybe 0.05% of the good answer. Biodiversity is everywhere. We are living with it. And sometimes we are living with the biodiversity we never value, we never think about. And if we get a chance to meet it, the first reaction is killing. Have you ever think that a spider is very important? Have you ever think that a bacteria is very important? Yet, we can't see it with our eyes, but we can see the impacts of a bacteria, especially when we are sick. And those are the most one we know. And sometimes, if we discuss among ourselves, the quick reaction is saying, oh, they are bad, they are causing diseases. However, we forget also positive benefits we are getting from them. We can look in another direction. How much money can you pay to the bees and butterflies that are pollinators? What may happen for us if they are not there? Which technology can we use to pollinate our crops that are producing fruits, seeds, and all kinds of foods we need to survive? How much money can we pay to the pest controllers? Can we really rely on pesticides and chemical fertilizers? Can only this application take us to the improved environment and the sustainability? When we plan for development, when we plan for research, do we take time and include the sustainability and health environment? There is a time I had a tower in Arboretum of Ruhande for those who know the place. And it was a complex group. The main purpose was to show that forest plantation can play a big role for biodiversity conservation. When we were there, some of people approached me and asked me, for how long these eucalyptus have been here? I said, the forest was planted around the 1930s. Now it is almost 100 years. They said, oh, have you ever harvested these eucalyptus? I said, I don't know, but what I see, it seems as it was not harvested. They said, have you ever think about timber and firewood from this good eucalyptus? On the other side, one of the local community members was asking, are we allowed to collect firewood from this forest? Let me stop here. But those two examples show us how in one community of people, people making that community have different directions. We are making a field trip to talk about biodiversity conservation, to show how forest plantation is essential for biodiversity conservation. But another one is looking at eucalyptus and how good it can produce timber and money. Nothing else about biodiversity, nothing else about conservation. Another one is saying, oh, how can we collect firewood? The focus is not on biodiversity, the focus is not on timber, the focus is on firewood, because that is the most needed. Those two examples took me on another level of thinking. How can we conserve in this changing environment with a complex of people, with a complex of stakeholders, with different direction? And if I turn the question, how can we conserve biodiversity in this era of technology, in this era of research and innovation for the new product? Recently, in this month, we have celebrated the Biodiversity and Environmental Days. And the key point there was to fight against plastic pollution. But here of us, look at our tables. How many water bottles do we have? And they're made of plastics. That is fine. But how can I convince a producer of this water, a producer of these plastic bottles, that they are harming our environment? What can be done in terms of research and innovation to replace these plastic bottles? Are we aware of how it is affecting our biodiversity and environment? There, the idea is that conservation is not a work of one person. It is a concern of all of us. When you look at a forest, a river, a town, let us think that it is there for us, but also it has to be there for our future generation. When you are practicing deforestation, when you are clearing a wetland, when you are replacing biodiversity in a town, let us first think how that action is essential for us and how is leading to the future generation. And then from that we talk about sustainability. We talk about a healthy society. We talk about innovations that are not only producing a new product, but also contributing to the environmental conservation, to human health, not for now only, but also for the future generation. That's my effort, your effort, and effort for all of us. Conservation is an action of all of us. Thank you very much.